Rita here, and I'm sitting here with Benjamin Daniel Hall, right?
Right.
Now, Benjamin, you run Earth Angels, and you are a psychic medium.
Yes.
Am I missing anything there?
No, Earth Angel Gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened it a couple years ago, so we're doing good so far.
But you studied nuclear medical technology in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
So
University of Kentucky.
How did you switch from that to...
I didn't. I did readings all through college.
Really?
Yeah. I was on television. I was in college. The people I was training with in nuclear medicine doing clinicals actually saw me on TV, and I didn't even think about it. Right. So I went into, because I was on the news, and I went in the next day and everybody's talking about it. I'm like, oh man, because it's not something I talked about. Right,
so you were born with the gift?
I think so.
Okay.
Because I was doing it in high school and stuff, so.
And did you have when you grew up, did people say, oh, you had imaginary friends, or?
No, because I didn't have imaginary friends. And what I did have, I didn't really talk about it.
Okay.
Because I always felt the presence of this woman next to me when I was a little kid. But I didn't talk about it.
No.
I didn't share that with. I was a strange enough kid. Because I always I talked to my friends about energy fields and electricity and flowing through our bodies and stuff, and they just, fourth grade.
Fourth grade?
Yeah, in Kentucky. But then I also lived across the street back here at Pine Oak Grove Junior High and lived back and forth, so.
So how did you keep developing your skills?
I don't think I really did.
It just came naturally?
Yeah, those things just kind of keep developing on their own until you decide to study.
That's right.
Or practice.
Right.
Because I'm not one for studying anything. But I started practicing, and even, I guess I started maybe when I was 22 doing readings.
Yeah.
Just getting it out of my system. I had to do this because I know I could. So that just kept going and going. Then I go back to work, nuclear medicine, then open a bookstore and do that for a bit. Because when you're 22 and you look young, because I looked really young, nobody gives you a chance. Nobody said, come into my store, do readings, you're great. Except the lady in Lexington, Kentucky, when I was in college. She did that very thing.
Right.
She believed in me. She had me doing her psychic fairs.
Yep.
I'd have people lined up to see me, and it was just a lot of fun. It wasn't like I was trying to make a living out of it, because I wasn't. But she was kind of amused by the whole process. Got back to Tampa. I met Debbie Pasquotto when I was 22. I came back after college, and she was always a strong supporter and believer in me. Right. But other than that, you just didn't have a lot of that. You go into stores like this, and people just really up their guard up. And especially if you go, well, I'm a medium, and people, they give you that kind of look, It's like, really? It's just there's a bit of a trust issue with people, and they have dogmatic philosophies, even metaphysics. They try and blend their old beliefs with these new beliefs, and I think the dogma of it still weighs them down. If anything, I'm trying to break people of those beliefs. There's no limits. You can do this. Don't think that you have to buy somebody this or all these little rules. So, and mediums, same thing. Everybody's intuitive.
Of course, everybody.
Saying to somebody, "Oh, you're so special." No, I'm not. Just because you can hear slightly better or you have an eye for doing something, it's just a thing.
I have to agree. You either develop your gifts, whatever your gifts are, or you leave them dormant.
Yeah, learn to ride a bike or never do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, you are a walk-in. People go like, "What's a walk-in?"
I know, because I didn't know what that was or that it existed until a psychic told me that. And of course, that validation of having my mother say, yeah, that actually happened to you as a child, you died. And I don't know the whole definition of a walk-in, to be honest. I know it was a bit of a game changer, but I don't know the full meaning of it all.
No, there's this little book by Doreen Virtue, and I used to have it, and it's Earth Angels, a pocket guide for incarnated angels, elementals, star people, walk-ins, and wizards. And it just says that the soul makes an agreement with another soul to make an exchange of life energy at some point. So apparently what usually happens, so they say, you're the first walk-in that I've met. What they say that sometimes before you're born you make an agreement and you decide to swap at some stage.
Wow. Wow.
And sometimes when people have been in a coma, they change completely.
Really?
So I thought that was...
Well, it made a lot of sense because even as a little bitty kid, it's like I had a plan. I knew these things. It didn't make sense to me. But I remember being really small and saying, this time I'm going to do this, and this time I'm going to do this, as if I had this already in my head.
Yeah.
And when that psychic, who was actually at my friend Debbie's house that time, said, did you know you're a walk-in? And I'm like, what is that? She's like, well, you died at some point in your life, and you've stepped in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'd remember a traumatic experience of that nature, you know. Called my mother. My mother was up north at the time, and she goes, oh yeah, you choked to death when you were a baby, and your father resuscitated you, brought you back.
Yeah.
First I'd heard of it. So.
Yeah, the minute I saw you, actually, the first thing I said, and I remember saying this to my friend Kathy, oh, he's an earth angel.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yep. You know, you can see it in your demeanor and the way you, it's your energy field and just the way you are.
And you know, I wish I had some cool elaborate story of why I use this name for a second time. Because I use the same name on my store on Kennedy. I like having the angel name in the store.
Right.
It just popped in my head. It really did, other than the song, of course. But the name just stuck, and I used it again. And then I found the Little Dorian Virtue book, so I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
You know, there's people here on Earth to do this work, and for whatever reason, and they know better than anybody else, but they do have a job to do.
Yes, they do.
And it's funny, when I decided to do this again, it fell into place. It really did. So I guess I have a job to do.
And I love your store. Absolutely love it.
And we're blessed to be here. In this location, everything just keeps coming together. So
how did you come about opening this first store?
Which one? I've had 5.
No, this one, Earth Angels.
This one, this time?
Yeah.
I retired from nuclear medicine. Wasn't really getting back into the job I wanted anyways. And I said, I guess maybe I'll retire. And I looked at leasing a property on Waters. That was all serendipitous too. Long story, I'm going into it. Crazy cool. I knew it was going to be at Waters. And the day after I signed the lease, the hospital called and said, we want to hire you. I'm like, I'm really sorry. It choked me to say no. It really did, because I wanted that job so badly at Florida Hospital. And turned out everything was serendipitous. Everything fell into place just the way it should. You know, especially in the second year. The first year was a slow go, but everything was fine. And then everything just took off. It really did. And people have been wonderful. I've been so blessed. Everybody's been great. Because there are situations over the years where I've seen stores fall apart or have issues, and people struggle, and personal conflicts and stuff, and everybody can feel that when they walk into a shop.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether it's family members or other halves or whatever, if there's that going on in the store, you feel it. So you try and keep it as harmonious as possible when allowed to.
Yeah, it's very zen when you walk in.
We hope so.
Now, do you teach as well?
I try.
You try?
I've been teaching for a long time. I honestly used to start by when I was like about 21, and I'd have people sit in front of me, and we'd have a topic, and everything would just come to me. Because I don't like to brag and say I've never actually read a book, because I haven't actually ever read a book. Isn't that horrible?
No, it's okay.
But I haven't. So I'd sit there, and it would just kind of, the answers were there.
Yeah.
From wherever. So I was remembering things, and I used to say to people, I was like, well, I'm just having a conversation with myself, and you guys get to listen to it. And sometimes it made perfect sense, and other times it was a bit choppy. But as I've evolved with it, I've started realizing that when I try to teach something, it's difficult for me, because my mind is all over the place. And when I have somebody there grounding me and keeping me in a flow, I'm better. So I do the meditations here.
You taught meditation, didn't you?
More like I do the voice thing, and I guide people through the experience. And I'm actually meditating while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there in a kind of a zone, breathe, relax, and I'm going out. And you know, and I'm saying this, so I say, okay, now I see a well, and I'm talking as I'm going. And I let people know, it's like, if you annoy me, if you move, I'm going to see it. So please don't shuffle your feet and move around me, because I can see everything, because my eyes are like wide open. I'm in this zone, and it's so much fun. But you do. You see that you have these experiences, and I get to share them.
Yeah.
People, and I love when people go, "Oh yeah, we saw that before you said it." It's like, oh, nailed it.
Yeah. So, what is your most memorable moment when you've given a reading?
Oh my goodness gracious. Names.
Right.
When I hit names. To me, that's always amazing. How you can connect to that, or connecting and describing a space in a room exactly the way they're showing it to you, and it be validated as, yep.
You know, in the UK, they always talk about evidence. You always have to give names, what a person passed away from, and other things that are really evidence. I think in the States it's a little bit different. But I still think evidence is important for people that want to have a message.
I was having the conversation with the lady who went to Arthur Findlay.
Yes, that's right.
And that's
I've
what
been there.
They train them in it.
Yes.
And I'm like, that is my belief, absolutely, if you can. So I don't do the mediumship like one of the ladies here, Karen, does. Arbuckle, she's an amazing medium. That is her focus. She's just awesome. It's different. When I started reading with tarot or whatever, I'll sit there for a moment and listen. And if somebody was come through and start talking, then I'll lay all that out for them. I'm saying, this person, does it make sense? And they're like, yeah, that's so-and-so. Is this their initial? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, then it validates, yeah, they're really here for me, and this is the story they want to tell. And it all makes sense. It should all make sense.
Yeah.
When somebody walks up to you and go, oh, your father is here, and he's saying it's okay.
That's no evidence.
Well, thanks for nothing. You know, they're trying to impress you in some weird way, and I'm like, yeah, give me Grandpa's initials, and I'll knot my hat to you, but it doesn't give you the validation.
Anybody can love you in spirit.
Yeah, and the thing is,
because spirit is love.
The way they usually work is, hey, let me get your attention. Do you know that thing I gave you back when you were, and you're like, oh my God. Well, that's who's here, and they just want to say I love you and everything's okay. There's a message there that comes together, it's cohesive, and you feel like something just happened.
That's right.
But people are impressed by, especially here in the United States, by the fluff and the nonsense of people just carrying on, or you've given them a hint of something and they run with it. So yeah, I can see why people with Arthur Findlay are like, no, it has to be laid out and it has to be organized. And if not, it doesn't impress them.
No.
But when Kay brought that up to me, I was the same way. I was like, oh, absolutely.
So you're a no-nonsense reader as well.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, when I start a session with somebody, I'm out, this is horrible, I'm out to impress myself. Isn't that horrible? I'm like,
why should you impress yourself?
Because I have that bar up there that I've done this before. So I tell them, okay, let's see what happens. If it doesn't, I'm stopping.
That's
so
right.
They're giving me this person, I'm describing their situation and the details. Is this why you're here? And they're like, yes, okay. Because they're fairly specific in their how they describe people and the situation. If somebody says, I have no idea what that is, and no, I don't have that person in my life, so I don't know what this is.
And you stop it.
I will stop, or I'll listen. I'm like, if they repeat it again, the same thing, I'll repeat it again, the way they're giving it to me. And if it just doesn't, I was like, we're stopping, done. And I'll say, do you want to go see somebody else today? Because for some reason, and it's happened.
That's okay.
You know, it's happened a couple times. But I said, I've told every reader I've met, I'm like, you need to validate your own abilities and inabilities to connect sometimes.
Correct.
Because Spirit's not there 100% of the time.
No.
And I've noticed that they're really not there when there's no reason to be there. I will say, I have no idea. I don't hear anything. Sorry. Or they'll ask specific questions. Will I get my check on the 26th of this month? I don't know or care. Or am I going to go asking that silly question? You know, they can answer those questions, and there's ways to try and ask, but it's just kind of irritating.
Well, if they come to you and they leave and they keep coming back, how do you recommend that they get in touch with their guides, their spirit guides?
Oh my God, because it's your own process.
Yeah, of course.
I'm always, well, meditate. Learn to shift your consciousness and listen and validate. So I always say, if it's not validated, it's schizophrenia. You know, I'm hearing voices, yes you are, and you need to get help immediately. But when the voices tell you this is happening tomorrow, then listen, because you're validating something and something's really happening.
That's called quiet. You know, you have to quieten the mind. and just listen to your, your inner self.
Which people takes a lot of work, and I've told people it's part of your mind-body experience. If your mind's not clean to some degree, it's very difficult. So people don't get that, and it confuses me. They're doing different chemicals these days for these spiritual trips and things, and sorry, no.
But it's also breath work. I mean, breath work.
Oh, very important. Really important. I mean, I'm just reading recently. I didn't read it. I heard on YouTube. When I say I read something recently, I saw it on a video. I promise you, that's the truth. And it's like talking about how your heart gives more signals to your brain than your brain gives to your heart. You actually have those brain neurons or type of neurons in your heart muscle. I was in medicine. I wasn't a doctor, but I didn't know that part. I did cardiology work. I didn't know that because they don't teach you any of that. It's rhythms and what they can do to cut it open to fix it.
No, so you were talking about having been on TV.
Let me clarify that. I was on the television in college through news TV shows, interviews and things. Then I got to do some haunted location work here in Tampa.
Which is on YouTube?
Morning TV stuff.
Oh, morning TV, okay.
To me, I like to say this because people really shouldn't take themselves so seriously. It was fun. It was when Nancy Alexander interview, she did exactly what I thought she might. It was a big joke. And I was fine with that. I just did my part, and she was laughing through the whole thing. And she said, "Are you okay with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's ghosts. Let's be funny. It is funny, and people should enjoy this process and not take themselves so seriously." I think that little note of fear becomes a part of it. You're afraid you're doing something wrong. Fear is no part in this.
No, but fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yep, and you're giving it to yourself, saying, "What if? What if? What if?" You can't do that.
So did you see things?
Oh, what I did, I think I'm like Raid. they kind of go running or something when I show up. It seems like it. So what I tend to do is read the location before I go, and that's what I do with Proof, the organization I work with now. I'll read photographs because it's not likely something shows up when I'm there for some reason, but I do really well with that. Over the phone or with images, I'll read them from a distance. When we did the thing in Denver, it was really cool because we wanted to do the show, or at least a sizzle reel for a pilot. And my producer Lori was like, "Well, we got to find a location." It seemed like it wasn't a week later that a patient walks in, and I just turned to him, and I don't do this to patients. And I said, "Is your place of business haunted?" Because that emotion was overwhelming.
Right.
I was like, "What is in my head?" And when I turned, and he started, "I can't believe you just asked me that," kind of seriously. I said, "I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble." And he goes, "No, I own this pub downtown, and it's so haunted, my employees won't go upstairs to even go in the rooms. Because the upstairs used to be a hotel." So we ended up getting the location. And I'm on my way there, and I knew somebody's going to be there that's going to be bothering me and getting like emotionally. So I had to read the location through the producer who was there on the location. You're limitless. Just do it.
Yeah.
If the thought in your head is your head, just allow it and do it. People go, "Oh, I have to do this and hold this." I'm like, nonsense. Don't do that to yourself. And I was really on point. I said, "There's two sides of this. It's up in the middle. There's stairs up the center." And she's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Did that get on tape?" No. None of that was on tape. And I could see the spirit in my mind and the energy and how it was going to play out that night, and it did. The coolest part, which again got lost, was me and this intern for the video people were watching these screens, and literally the side that I thought was going to be so active, I was right. These orbs were coming. People have a lot of explanations for orbs, but when this white glowing ball comes down a hallway and goes into a wall, and you're sitting there looking at somebody going, "Oh my God, are you seeing this?" And like, this is amazing. To me, that's an orb.
Yeah.
It wasn't dust. It wasn't bugs, because there were no bugs upstairs. The whole room was sealed, or the whole upstairs was sealed. It was burning hot. July in Denver. But none of that got on our show.
What a shame.
I asked the cameraman, the TV guys who was editing, and they said, "No, we didn't get any of that footage. Where did it go?" And I'm like, so an inexperienced crew, we're just all starting out. or even the voice stuff, the sounds and the noises we heard, or the voices.
They weren't recorded.
They were there, but the audio, they didn't know how to maximize them and get them separate from the rest of the stuff. So it was what it was.
It's everywhere in everyday life. There are energies all around us. Whether in an Irish pub or a church's sanctuary, ghosts can be found everywhere. Which begs the question, if you can believe in ghosts, can you believe in an afterlife? Always asking why, we're in search of evidence, not only physical, but energetic too.
Now behind me is Scruffy Murphy's Irish Pub. Larimer Street here was once considered the main street of Denver, and this building dates back to the height of the Old West. And while the revelry is going on downstairs, there's something roaming the halls above.
We have some interesting things that happen here. I'll come in early in the morning, and there'll be a whiskey bottle sitting in the middle of the bar. And then there'll be one stool pushed back into the middle of the floor. And the TVs in the main bar will go on. And I'll hear footsteps upstairs. I can't explain, nor can anyone else explain, how somebody could be up there walking around. There's really only one way in and one way out.
History is seeped into structures. Who people were, what they thought and felt, are left behind and can be sensed. My friends, Ben and Marcia, are two such people.
Okay, Ben, you ready?
I'm ready.
It's essentially derelict and has been since June 1st of 1991 when it was deserted.
Not given any background information, they're brought in blind.
No, and no matter what's going on this side.
Okay.
She's over here. If I was going to say there's something up here that's negative, it comes from this direction and it wants to be left alone.
So, this is it.
There's an entity on the stairs that greets all newcomers. Marcia explains the oppressive feeling.
It's very powerful energy, so you could fall down these stairs. That's how powerful the energy feels to me.
What a weird feeling.
Though some of the details are different, what they sense is remarkably similar.
She's in here. As clear as day, this lady's in this room.
Okay.
And she's very comfortable in this space. She's here in this moment, which is really different than a space where something's came and went.
There's an older woman in this room. She's big, she's round, she's carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders.
This has changed so much, and that's something I'm getting to is through the years, the different timelines.
Was it a brothel? That's, okay.
Yeah, at one point, it may have been a brothel.
Yeah, it could be a brothel, yeah.
This might have been like 1969, that kind of time period. A lot of alcohol, a lot of just everything nasty in these spaces. Okay, people could have died here, you could have been laid here weeks and nobody would understand.
And they're not like in the same time warp, time frame. Therefore, they're not aware what the other thing is.
As night falls, Mark, Dave, and Greg prepare for the investigation.
You want to tell us what you have here?
Sure. We have IP cameras. We've got an EMF detector. We have the audio, just handheld audio recorders. We have IR arrays. This is a K2 meter.
All right, well, you're definitely the tech expert here with the night vision stuff. I'm going to take care of the visual aspects with the professional cameras, and we'll see what we can catch up there.
Sounds awesome.
And catch we did.
I almost don't want to go first.
From drained batteries
You had them fully charged?
Yeah.
to random EMFs
Look at that. There's no reason for that.
and strange noises.
And it wasn't a fleck or a small piece of it. It was both.
Then something touched me.
It's right there.
Is there anything else you'd like to share or say?
No, there's probably what I just said already was, when people choose to do this, it's because they love it.
Yeah.
I jokingly call it an expensive hobby, because that's what it is. Trying to create a business out of metaphysics is very difficult. You're there to teach people and help them and give time and energy and money to make it happen. Just like the people at Proof, Paranormal Research Organization, Florida, they give so much of their own money to do what they do and to help people, and they don't charge anybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when you call them and say there's something happening in my house, they go show up and they don't charge you. People do these things because they love it. We love doing this. It's a balancing act that when you do it right, it works wonderfully. you'll receive, and it'll pay for itself because you're meant to keep doing it. And I always question that when people are struggling so hard with it. I'm like,
You gotta let it flow.
should you be doing this?
Mhm.
You know, it'll fall into place when you're meant to do it, right?
Correct.
And you see that happening.
Yes.
So you keep flowing with it as long as the river's flowing in the right direction. Either expand on what you think you know. I always say people that do readings and things that don't meditate, I wonder how that really works. Or they don't actually practice any metaphysical aspects.
Mhm.
But it is a natural process, but at the same time, I think if you're going to really teach people something, be a part of it. So, and we're all learning every day what crystal does this, what it's for, what the science behind these things are.
Well, you know, I channel, but I mean, I used to meditate a long time, no, not too long ago, but I can just sit and words just flow, and sometimes I have to write really quickly because I can't keep up.
Because it comes that quickly.
It comes that quickly.
Just like in readings. When you're reading somebody, it is just hitting you like chatter, and you're having to slow it down, and sometimes like tell people it's like pulling the knot out of a string and feeling it out over and over and seeing what that vibration was.
Yeah.
Or like when you wake up in the morning and you had a dream and you just can't quite grasp that dream again.
That's right, because it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But through intuition, it's very similar that you have to keep playing it back in your mind till it unfolds.
Yeah, correct.
It's a process for everybody, and we all do it a little differently.
Yeah, we do.
And I think everybody should own that. When somebody says, this is because red means this and green, no, it doesn't. It means what you need it to mean and what spirit tells you it means.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to wrap it up now. So I'm going to say thank you very much.
Well, thank you for interviewing me. I hope I did okay.
Yes, you did.
Okay. With the sparkling lights in our face and...
Well, nothing beyond the sunshine. I love the sun.
Yeah. And
I think you made a new friend.
Yep, she's completely relaxed.
Yes.